Yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy? Sports and Fitness Rants. I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. What's up, y'all? Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, man. Got another great video for you guys today. As usual, man, you guys know the deal on this channel. It's all about setting the record straight, stopping the lies, stopping the narratives, stopping them from rewriting history, guys. And in this video, man, I want to talk about something I was thinking about. Shout out to Gregory Braun, who sent me something on Instagram that made me think about this. He sent me something about Zydrunas and how he went to the Miami Heat in 2011 with LeBron James. A lot of people, I think, forget that or don't even realize that Zydrunas went to Miami with LeBron James in 2011 trying to win a championship, right? And LeBron James didn't come through for him. So I thought to myself, how many times did LeBron James keep his teammates from becoming champions? Because, you know, we talk about how Michael Jordan kept his rivals, right? Kept other great players from becoming champions. But in fact, Michael Jordan helped make his teammates champions, guys you never even heard of. We're going to read off a list of this stuff, guys. And I thought about LeBron James. How many teammates did LeBron James keep from winning a championship? Guys who never won a championship in their careers played with LeBron James, and LeBron James goofed it up for them. He didn't lead them to the promised land, right? He didn't galvanize the team. We're going to talk about in this video because there's a lot of guys that LeBron James played with that are not champions today because LeBron James choked it up in the playoffs, choked it up in the finals, or just didn't play up to level. And we're going to talk about the difference between him and Michael Jordan, all the guys that Michael Jordan helped become champions, guys you never even heard of, you never remember. We're going to talk about in this video, guys. It's pretty astounding. So once again, I want to thank you guys, everyone across the world, everyone across the states, man, has been supporting my channel. Once again, you guys know I am truly, truly humbled, man, by all support. It really means a lot, guys. Once again, shout out to my man, Gregory Braun. Shout out to everybody in the membership. And you guys know what to do. Turn the volume all the way up. Hit that play button. Remember, these videos are for educational purposes. And let's roll. So, yes, guys, like I said, shout out to Gregory Braun once again for making me think about, you know, doing this kind of video. Now, I've thought about this in the past, but when he sent me that image of Zydrunas on the Miami Heat, you know, it made me think about doing this video again. So, like I said, guys, I want to talk about the players, the teammates of LeBron James that he kept from winning championships, that he kept ringless. These players never won a ring, and their best opportunity came with LeBron James. That was like their best chances to win rings. And LeBron James, who's the greatest player of all time, they keep telling us, did not come through for these guys. It is quite the opposite of Michael Jordan. When we talk about Michael Jordan versus LeBron James, we often say LeBron James allowed everyone to eat under his watch, right? We just talked about that in the video. All these players are winning championships during the LeBron James era. And we talked about how many great players, all-time greats, to this day still don't have championships because of Michael Jordan, right? We've talked about this, right? So we talk about some of the great players like Reggie Miller, Karl Malone, John Stockton, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, just to name a few, don't have championships because of Michael Jordan, right? He kept other great players from winning. I mean, hell, he almost kept Clyde Drexler from winning, right? He almost kept a lot of these guys from winning championships. Gary Payne didn't win a championship in the 90s. He didn't get one until he went and played on the Miami Heat in 2006, right? He didn't get no championships, right? So here's the thing about a lot of these guys. I mean, Shaq couldn't get a championship in the 90s, right? No one could get any championships while Michael Jordan was dominating. That's the facts, guys, right? We talk about Hakeem Olajuwon on the Rockets. They didn't win until Michael Jordan left. Not saying that they wouldn't have beat the Bulls or that their championships are not legit. But once again, Michael Jordan wasn't there. So we talked about the dominance of Michael Jordan, right? Versus LeBron James. Everybody winning championships in the LeBron James era, right? Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Kawhi Leonard winning championships, Nikola Jokic winning championships, Giannis Antetokounmpo winning championships, right? Everybody winning championships during LeBron James' career, right? Tim Duncan won one with LeBron James there, right? All these championships being won while LeBron James in the NBA, right? He's not preventing other great players from winning, right? So we understand the dynamic there. But if we take it a step further and we think about the teammates they played with, the teammates, how many times did LeBron James not come through for his teammates in a playoff scenario in an NBA Finals? And he kept some of these guys from ever winning a ring. Like I told you, these guys are ringless to this day because LeBron James did not come through for them. He choked it up. Michael Jordan, look how many guys are champions because of Michael Jordan's greatness, because he didn't choke it up in the finals or a playoff scenario. And his teammates became champions because they played with Michael Jordan, not because they contributed like that. A lot of these guys I'm going to read off, they barely even played. You don't even remember them, but they got a ring. They're on the championship team, guys. They got a ring. They're champions on their resume because they played with Michael Jordan, man, and he didn't choke it up on them. He galvanized them. He made them earn it, right? So we're going to go through this, guys. Now, these are all LeBron James teammates who LeBron James played with that to this day still do not have championship rings, and their best chances were with LeBron James, guys. All right? They had opportunities with LeBron James to win championships, and he did not come through for them. So we mentioned Big Z, so Joe Zagowski. He was on a team in 2007 when LeBron James, not saying that they should have won that game, won that series, but LeBron James was terrible in that series. Terrible. 22 points a game on 35% shooting, 6 turnovers a game. I mean, that's terrible. Not playing any kind of defense. I mean, just a terrible series from LeBron James. There's no way to slice it, guys. They try to, exaggerate it and, excuse LeBron James by saying he carried them there. But they never want to talk about his performance in the finals. That man was horrendous in the finals, and his teammates stepped up for him. But Big Z didn't have LeBron James there for him. So he was there in 2007. He was also there on the Miami Heat in 2011, and LeBron James choked it up for him. So Joe Zagowski should be a champion right now, right, for the 2011 Miami Heat, but LeBron James goofed it up. And the Big Z to this day is still not a champion on his resume because LeBron James in 2 NBA finals he played with, he was terrible. Terrible in both of them. Sasha Pavlovich played with LeBron James in 2007 NBA Finals. Once again, Sasha Pavlovich, not a big-name guy. Not saying he's a Hall of Famer or a perennial All-Star or an All-NBA guy. None of that stuff. Once again, something that LeBron James could have developed to Sasha Pavlovich, could have made him a champion in 2007. He was on that team. He did not. How about Anderson Varejao? Anderson Varejao, a very solid role player. Once again, another great role player for LeBron James, coming off the bench. Really solid defensive player down low. Really great hustle guy, energy guy. Anderson Varejao was one of those glue guys, right? Guy who does all the dirty work for your team, right? Hustle on the glass, right? Offensive rebounding, taking charges. This is what he did, man, right? That was his game plan, setting really good screens. This is what Anderson Varejao did for LeBron James. He was there in the 2007 NBA Finals. We all know what LeBron James didn't do for these guys, man. So Anderson Varejao, to this day, is still not a champion on his resume because LeBron James, man, just goofed it up on him. But Damon Jones still not a champion all these years because to play with LeBron James. Damon Jones, no championship. How about Drew Gooden? Remember Drew Gooden in 2007? Once again, a guy who was out there giving the effort, a top draft pick, a really solid player, Drew Gooden at that power forward position, really good rebounder, Drew Gooden. Nice little mid-range shot, nice around the rim, Drew Gooden. A solid player, man. Once again, was there in 2007. LeBron James jacked it up. He's still not a champion to this day. How about Donyell Marshall? Donyell Marshall, once again, a guy who played with LeBron James at the tail end of his career, was on that 2007 team. Not a champion to this day because LeBron James, and a terrible performance he put up in 2007, not even giving them a chance to win a championship. It wasn't LeBron James went out there and averaged 30. You know what I'm saying? It was playing great defense and just controlling the game, and they just lost to a greater team. We get all that. It's not what happened, man. They got swept out of there because LeBron James, as I said, was terrible. Terrible. So once again, Donyell Marshall, no championship. How about Eric Snow? Eric Snow, who came from the Philadelphia Sixers, playing with Allen Iverson. Once again, Allen Iverson, talk about a carry job. Allen Iverson carrying the Philadelphia Sixers offensively to the NBA Finals. Now, we all know that Allen Iverson's team backed him up defensively and rebound. They did all the other things for Allen Iverson. But offensively, this man was carrying that team. Carrying them. They didn't have anybody. They have George Lynch on that team. Eric Snow was a really solid point guard, man, right? Yeah, none of these guys are offensive players. None of them are offensive guys. So we have to talk about, think about these kinds of things. But Eric Snow was on that team in 2007. He was a starting point guard for that team. LeBron James jacked it up. Larry Hughes, still not a champion on his NBA career because LeBron James didn't make him an NBA champion. You know what I'm saying? How about Wally Szczerbiak, played with LeBron James in a 2008 season when they won 60 games, right? And everybody was pumping the Cleveland Cavaliers up. Wally Szczerbiak was there for a couple of years. You think about that 2008, 2009, 2010 Cleveland Cavaliers. I mean, they won 60 games back-to-back in 2009 and 2010. And they were pretty solid in 2008. But Wally Szczerbiak, no championship on his resume. Played with LeBron James. He didn't help Wally Szczerbiak become a champion. How about Joe Smith? Joe Smith was on the 2008 team. I believe Joe Smith was on the 2009 team, I believe, Cleveland Cavalier team. Joe Smith, the number 1 draft pick in 1995. 1995, I think Joe Smith. Really good player, Joe Smith. That power forward position. Not a champion still to this day. Played with LeBron James, man. Didn't make him a champion. How about Antoine Jameson? Is Antoine Jameson a champion today because LeBron James made him a champion? Because he raised up his level play in 2008 or 2009 or 2010 and went on some crazy run and led them to a championship? No, Antoine Jameson is still not a champion to this day. He played with LeBron James, I believe that was 2009 and 2010. He played with LeBron James on the Cleveland Cavaliers, a very solid player. Once again, Antoine Jameson, another forgotten player, but he was out there with LeBron James, never won anything. How about Mike Bibby? You guys remember Mike Bibby? A really good player, Mike Bibby, man. Played for the Sacramento Kings. That's really what he's known for, his time on the Sacramento Kings. But Mike Bibby was a really good player. Playing the Miami Heat in 2011. A lot of people forget that Mike Bibby was on that team in 2011. And once again, he's not a champion to this day. No championship ring on his resume because LeBron James choked it up for him. Literally choked up a ring for Mike Bibby, man. Mike Bibby still not a champion to this day. How about Jamal McGlure? You guys remember Jamal McGlure? He was a solid center in the 2000s, Jamal McGlure. So shout out to Jamal McGlure was on the team. Once again, not a champion to this day on his career because he played with LeBron James in 2011. Choked it up for Jamal McGlure. Still not a champion. How about the guys who played with LeBron James in that second stint in Cleveland, the 2018 Cleveland Cavaliers, that he keeps celebrating LeBron. The greatest version of LeBron James was the 2018 LeBron James, but then his team got swept in the finals. So LeBron James did not lift his team to an NBA Finals or win them guys any rings or make them champions because he's the greatest. That was the greatest player. So LeBron James, they argue, is the greatest player of all time, and the greatest version of that play was 2018. So in 2018, George Hill did not become a champion. Remember, he actually made George Hill a scapegoat. He passed the ball to George Hill at the end of game one because LeBron James is so great. The greatest player of all time, at the greatest part of his career, passed the ball to George Hill. George Hill at the end of a game in the NBA Finals when he was balling out with 49 points. He passed the ball to George Hill. That's the greatest player of all time at the greatest time of his career. Makes no sense, but George Hill, not a champion to this day because LeBron James in 2018 was not that guy. How about Jordan Clarkson, who played with LeBron James on that 2018 team, right? We talked about this. Jordan Clarkson, a really good player. He ain't no champion to this day. He's still in the league. Currently, still playing, no doubt. But he wasn't a champion in 2008. Never won a ring. LeBron James goofed it up. He was on that team. Rodney Hood is still not a champion. He was on that 2018 squad. Larry Nance Jr. was on that 2018 squad. Still no rings for Larry Nance Jr. And Kyle Korver never won a championship. Had a chance to win a championship. He was on the 2017 team and the 2018 team. And LeBron James jacked that up. 2017, man, the Cleveland Cavaliers should have won a championship. Kyle Korver should be a champion. All right? LeBron James that great. But he didn't do anything. You had Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love out there, a really good host of players or role players, and LeBron James didn't do anything on the defensive end. He couldn't slow down Kevin Durant one bit. He didn't even take the challenge to try to slow down Kevin Durant one bit. Shout out to my man AOH, who's covering the 2017 NBA Finals right now. He's going to show you guys and highlight everything I'm telling you. LeBron James ducking screens, not taking the challenge, not being that guy, man. So Kyle Korver's not a champion. So I just went down a laundry list of guys here. None of these guys are champions, guys, to this day because they play with LeBron James. Because he played with LeBron James, guys. All right? Now we're going to look at Michael Jordan, and let's see how many guys are champions that you never even heard of. You never heard of these guys that are champions now on their resume. To this day, they have a championship ring because they played with Michael Jordan. Right? Look at this, guys. Bill Cartwright. That was his second team when he came to Chicago Bulls, all right? Bill Cartwright, 3-time champion because he played with Michael Jordan, man. Michael Jordan didn't goof it up, didn't choke it up. Nope, he showed up and made someone like a Bill Cartwright, lifted up and helped galvanize someone like Bill Cartwright, made him a champion 3 times over. John Paxson, that was the Bulls. It was his second team when he came into to the Bulls. That was his second team. I believe he was on the San Antonio Spurs before that. John Paxson, 3 times champion because Michael Jordan didn't jack it up, didn't goof it up, didn't get him traded. Right? Didn't say, oh, I can't win with John Paxson. We got to get rid of this guy. Nope. These guys are champions because they play with Michael Jordan, man. John Paxson. You remember these guys, right? Because they play with Michael Jordan. They earned it. And you respected them. B.J. Armstrong, 3 times champion because he played with Michael Jordan, man. Right? Once again, these guys, what would they have been anyplace else? Right? They wouldn't have been. I mean, B.J. Armstrong ended up becoming a journeyman after Chicago Bulls. Right? He went to the Charlotte Hornets, I think. Then he went to the Golden State Warriors, I believe. I think he was on like 3 teams after the Chicago Bulls, man. So once again, playing with Michael Jordan makes you guys greater. Makes you champions. This is what he does for his teammates, man. Right? He pushed them in practice so they can be there for him. And once again, they can earn it and be champions. That's what I wanted them to earn it and be a part of it as well. And look at all the guys that are a part of this. He's bringing everyone championships. Guys that would never sniff a championship, guys. These are journeymen. Stacey King, 3 times champion because he played with Michael Jordan, man. Will Perdue, 3-time champion because he played with Michael Jordan. You guys, I think Will Perdue actually is the only guy on this list that I mentioned that won a championship outside the Chicago Bulls. I believe he won 1 championship with the San Antonio Spurs. Will Perdue, great for him, but he became a champion because of the Bulls. Cliff Livingston, 2-time champion because he played with Chicago Bulls. The Bulls were his 3rd team, guys. That was his 3rd team. He was a journeyman looking for a home. And he found a home in Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls and won 2 championships as a key role player for that 91-92 team. So shout out to Cliff Livingston. Remember, they brought Cliff Livingston in to toughen up Scottie Pippen in practice, right? As another forward that could beat him up in practice and go and be physical against him. That's what they brought him in for. I remember Cliff Livingston telling that story. That's literally what they brought him in for, to help toughen up Scottie Pippen. They brought him in, I believe, in 89. So Cliff Livingston, 2 times champion. How about Dennis Hobson? You guys ever heard of Dennis Hobson? Dennis Hobson, a 1-time champion because he played on the Chicago Bulls with Michael Jordan, man, in the 90s. Dennis Hobson. You have no clue, this guys. He played like what? I think he played 3 games in the playoffs that year, played like 5 minutes. But he's a champion, got a ring, playing with Michael Jordan. Dennis Hobson, you never even heard of the guy. How about Craig Hodges? Craig Hodges, two-time champion. That was his fourth team, guys. His fourth team. Comes to Chicago Bulls, finds a home, right? I think he played 3 years for Chicago Bulls. I think it was like 89 to 92. Once again, a two-time champion. That was his fourth team. Craig Hodges, a knockdown shooter, one of the great shooters of the 80s into the early 90s. Craig Hodges, I believe he won, three-point shooting contests in a row. Knockdown, spot-up shooter, Craig Hodges. How about Bob Hansen? Anybody know who Bob Hansen is? Bob Hansen, that was his third team when he came to Chicago Bulls. He's a one-time champion. I believe it was 1992. I want to say Bob Hansen was on that team. But you guys don't know who Bob Hansen is? There's another slow, unathletic white guy that played with the Chicago Bulls that became a champion because Michael Jordan didn't choke it up in the finals or in the playoffs, right? Made these guys champions, man. Helped lift these guys up. Bob Hansen, his third team, like I said, man. Scott Williams, a three-time champion because he played the Chicago Bulls, right, with Michael Jordan. If you came to play with the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan in the 90s, chances are you can win a championship, man. And like I said, a lot of these guys understood that. That's why the Bulls were able to get a lot of role players, right, some of these guys that were journeymen. They're looking for a home. And once again, Michael Jordan doing more or less, turning journeymen into champions. LeBron James couldn't turn any solid players into champions, let alone journeymen. How about Dow Walker? You guys know who Dow Walker is? You guys remember Dow Walker? Dow Walker, one-time champion, playing with Chicago Bulls. I believe it was 1993, maybe. One-time champion, playing with Chicago Bulls. That was his fifth team, guys. His fifth team in the NBA was the Chicago Bulls. So once again, a journeyman coming to the Bulls and becoming a champion. How about Rodney McRae? You guys remember Rodney McRae? You don't remember Rodney McRae? Who else? Rodney McRae. Rodney McRae is a one-time champion because he played with Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan. That was his fourth team, guys. That was his fourth team that he came to when he got Chicago Bulls. Once again, a journeyman. But he became a champion playing alongside Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls, man. How about Trent Tucker? You guys remember Trent Tucker? Like a Craig Hodges, another knockdown shooter, played for the New York Knicks a lot of years. I'm trying to think of another team he played for, a couple of teams. But Trent Tucker, that was his third team, I believe, when he came to Chicago Bulls. What was that, 93? I think that was 93 that he was on that championship team in 93. So shout out to Trent Tucker, who barely played much, but he was on the team, had a ring. So once again, Trent Tucker, a journeyman, his third team, wins a championship, got a ring on his resume now, plays Chicago Bulls. How about Judd Bushler? Do you guys remember Judd Bushler? Who the hell is Judd Bushler? You remember another slow, another white guy, played with Michael Jordan, became champion with Michael Jordan, guys. Judd Bushler, that was his fourth team, guys. His fourth team. You see how many teams these guys played for before they came to the Chicago Bulls? They're journeymen looking for a home. And they found the home. Michael Jordan pushed these guys in practice. They were able to have a role. And once again, they became champions. How about Randy Brown? We all remember Randy Brown. He was the guy who jumped on Michael Jordan after the 96 finals, right at the end of Game 6, and he's jumping on Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's on the floor, and he's all over Michael Jordan. Randy Brown, man, a really solid defensive player, right? A role player, a guy who played his role, knew what he was supposed to do, and played within himself. So Randy Brown's a three-time champion. That was his second team when he came to Chicago Bulls. He found a home. Randy Brown, three-time champion to this day, right? Because he played with Michael Jordan, Chicago Bulls. How about Dickie Simpkins? Who the hell is Dickie Simpkins? You guys remember Dickie Simpkins? Three-time champion Dickie Simpkins. Three-time champion Dickie Simpkins. I believe he was drafted by Chicago Bulls in 95, I want to say, and played with them in 96, 97, and 98. So Dickie Simpkins, three-time champion because Michael Jordan came back on a second three-peat and helped make someone like Dickie Simpkins you never heard of. Guy was a journeyman after the Chicago Bulls, played for like 4 teams in his career, became a champion of Chicago Bulls, though. Right? How about Bill Wennington? Bill Wennington, that was his third team when he came to Chicago Bulls. His third team, guys. Three-time champion because he played with Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls, guys. Bill Wennington. Right? But Bill Wennington said, yeah, he crossed the line. All these guys said, but yeah, it worked. The results were there, right? How about Scott Burrell? Remember Scott Burrell from the Last Dance documentary? Michael Jordan was riding Scott Burrell, hounding Scott Burrell. And I posted that little clip from the 1998 NBA Finals, right? When Michael Jordan had the ball in the post. And they double teamed him, and he kicked that to Scott Burrell for an open three, and it was the second quarter, the first half of the game, whatever it was. And Scott Burrell knocked the shot down. So Michael Jordan passed him with confidence, and Scott Burrell shot the ball with confidence because he knew that Michael Jordan believed in him. And why did Michael Jordan believe in him? How did they develop that? In practice, by Michael Jordan busting his balls, harassing him and hounding him, having him prepared for that moment. So when Michael Jordan passed him the ball in the finals, he's ready for that moment. Michael Jordan could trust him. You develop that trust in cohesion, in practice. So Scott Burrell's a one-time champ. That was his third team, guys. That was his third team. He came to the Chicago Bulls and won a championship. But Bison Dele, a.k.a. Brian Williams? Looked like Sinbad. Rest in peace to him. Tragically, weird story behind his death or whatever. Was like one of those mysteries. But Bison Dele, one-time champion on his career. And that was his fourth team, guys. That was his fourth team when he came to Chicago Bulls, man. So I just went over a whole bunch of guys here, right? Similar to LeBron James teammates. These guys are no-name guys. Most of these guys, you never even heard of these guys. You forgot they were on the team. But the fact was they are champions. Now, all those guys are champions because they played with Michael Jordan. He never choked up in 91, didn't choke up in 92 or 93, 96, 97, 98. He didn't choke up in any of these scenarios, right? He was able to galvanize the teammates, do more with less, and make these guys champions that they would never been champions without playing for the Chicago Bulls and playing with Michael Jordan. Like I said, look at these 4 teams these guys played for. 4 teams, third team, fifth team, fourth team, his third team, his fourth team, his third team. I mean, these guys are journeymen. They're journeymen, guys. They were looking for homes. A couple years on one team, a couple years on another team, and you find a home of Chicago Bulls, man. Because Michael Jordan sacrificed to play the system, which allowed his teammates to have a role. And these guys become champions because of that. So as you guys can see, LeBron James kept teammates from winning championships. Michael Jordan lifted up his teammates and made them champions. Michael Jordan kept his rivals from winning championships. Meanwhile, LeBron James' rivals were winning championships. LeBron James kept his own teammates from titles. That's insane when you think about this, guys. So once again, shout out to my man Gregory Braun for making me think about doing this kind of video. And I mean, just think about the names I read off here, guys. All these guys, they're not champions because of LeBron James' choke jobs. And LeBron James not coming through when it matters most. But they keep celebrating LeBron James, the greatest player of all time. Oh, he's the greatest player of all time. He's a greatest all-around player. He's got no flaws. And basically, that's what they're saying when he says he's the greatest all-around player of all time. But meanwhile, every flaws that LeBron James has played in, the reason why he's not hasn't have a winning record is because of his inconsistent play. And his lack of overall play, his lack of defense, his lack of leadership, his lack of grit, his lack of high IQ. Not raising up his teammates, doing less with more. LeBron James, guys. These are the facts, man. You guys know the deal, man. Michael Jordan lifting his teammates up, and LeBron James choking it up for his teammates, not coming through for them when it matters most. You guys know the deal, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one.